Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. Now this video is going to be covering X-Men's Excalibur, issue number 17. If you haven't been keeping up with the Excalibur line, go ahead and check out the link in my description, as well at the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything that's been going on so far, as well as everything that happened with the Ten of Swords line, which was the big event that transpired back in December. Now be sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel and you hit that notification bell, because we still have an X-Men issue to cover, which we're probably going to cover tomorrow, just because I need a little bit of a break right now. And we're also probably going to be covering Strange Adventures coming from DC Comics, which is an awesome line if you guys haven't been keeping up with it. It follows Adam Strange. Now, our last issue, we left off and we found out that Betsy Braddock, aka Captain Britain, after the events of Ten of Swords, had ended up in an alternate reality. And in this alternate reality, she's married to Angel, or not married, but she's having a relationship with Angel, and she's also the Queen of England. And with that being said, let's dive into this issue. So in this issue, we pick up in London, and we have Reuben of the Coven asking where Captain Britain is, where either of the Captain Britons are, because as it stands, nobody really knows exactly where the Captain Britons have vanished to. And he's asking Peter Wisdom exactly what he thinks on everything going on. And this is where he shows him a folder of Rogue and the Team Excalibur all dressed as Captain Britain. And so he tells Peter Wisdom, like, hey man, like, go to Krakoa and investigate what is going on. Find out where Brian Braddock is. Bring him back so he can be Captain Britain. And this is where we pick up with Betsy Braddock. And she's reading a letter from herself in this timeline. So Betsy, in this timeline, prior to her taking over this body, had wrote a letter in case of an omniversal trouble, in case something like this ever happened. And it's really just a warning not to divulge any kind of information that could be pertinent information, and to simply get out into your home reality as soon as possible. And so her being the Queen of England, she's kind of trying to stay inside. That way nobody really sees anything off with her or feels like anything's different about her. And so they simply tell the people that she's not well. But Betsy wastes no time. She has a plan to execute and she's going to do it. Now, the instructions were pretty clear for her to do. She has no ability to simply take herself to the other worlds in the absence of an amulet or the Starlight Sword. So it seems like the way back is the lighthouse, because of the otherworld conduit that is there. It should be enough to send her home. And Angel insists that someone go with her to protect her, to keep her safe. And he recommends his ex-wife, which is Psylocke, which makes this very awkward for Betsy, because Betsy was, kind of in her body for a while. And this is when we pick up with our Team Excalibur, and they run into Wisdom here, and they're trying to figure out exactly where he's going. And they figure out that they're all headed to the lighthouse, and this is exactly where Excalibur is going, because that's where they're moving their stuff into. And then they all actually sit down and have a talk about what's going on. And Wisdom tells them that he needs to beat a bunch of wizards there before anybody else, because the Coven's headed that way. In the absence of Captain Britain, to make a point about the having a mutant Captain Britain was a terrible idea, and all the rumbles of whatever happened in Krakoa has made a lot of people nervous. And they've drawn up the images of Captain Britain, and all of them dressed up as Captain Britain, and they say that's true, but there's someone that is responsible for that, and it's none other than Jamie Braddock. So the bad news is that Intel is starting to listen to the Coven psychopaths, because at the end of the day, they have a point. Captain Britain took the job and vanished. That's irrefutable. Though, they didn't see what happened on Krakoa or in other worlds. Still, as they see it, Captain Britain abandoned them. And so he can only assume the Marina Stern is headed to the lighthouse. And this is when one of the Krakoan children show up with a lei and scare the crap out of Wisdom. Just like, oh, what the heck is that? And it's just, one of the children offering him one of these leis as a welcome gift for his first visit to Krakoa. Now, in this world, the lighthouse, formerly known as the Braddock Family Lighthouse, was more of a crumbling structure that was torn down and made into a state-of-the-art intelligence facility following the ascension and reign of King James III. each reality must touch Otherworld, as it is a source of great power for the Braddock family and mutant kind. It remains highly defended from the enemies of the mutantdom in Queen Elizabeth's England. Without the powers inherited in Captain Britain's office, it remains the only way to access Otherworld. Additionally, as the center of British intelligence, the site is highly defended by both mutant and humans alike, making it near impenetrable for all except for very careful psychics. And this is when Psylocke and Betsy fly over this installation. And Betsy's trying to have some conversation here and wants to kind of ask some questions, but the rules are kind of strict, you know, no details. And so they're trying to avoid having any kind of real in-depth dialogue. And this is where we pick up with Excalibur at the lighthouse. And the wizards have already made their way here with wrecking balls and all, trying to pull this place down. And this is when Gambit throws in his cards. And Rick does what he needs to do. These guys are taking him on, but the Coven seems more disciplined. They seem like they have a better grasp on working as a team and being able to take these guys on. And now that they don't have the help of Apocalypse, the mutants are a little on the unprepared side. And so Psylocke and Betsy break into this place, and they're making their way through. And Psylocke says that she'll answer 3 questions. The first question she asks, is there a Krakoa? And she says that there is, but no one really uses it. No one really goes there anymore. How is her brother? And she lets her know that he is now actually head of British space program. And the last question she asks, have you always lived in your body? And then they break into where the source of the Otherworld gate is. And Betsy wants to ask more questions, but Psylocke tells her no. Like, you just pretty much told me that you stole my body. Now you've stolen my queen's body. You've told me that you've stolen my body. Like, it's just time for you to leave. I don't want to hear any more of what you have to say. And she apologizes and then walks through the portal. And this is where we see Excalibur and the team defending the best they can. But then we see the arrival of Captain Britain. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, Captain Britain is back in her own reality. It wasn't that hard of a challenge, honestly. It really seemed like, you know, she was trying to trap her in this reality, but more or less, she's already found her way back. And so we're going to see how all of this plays out with Otherworld and so on and so forth. All in all, it was not a bad story. Lots of detail here for us to go over, so it's always fun when we have a good amount of detail and dialogue helping us understand exactly where the story is driving forward to. Now, if you guys have not yet, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you're not missing any of the content we have coming out. Check out Comic Breakdown and More podcast, available on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Link is down in the description. New episodes every Friday. You can also support the channel by checking out our Patreon. Link is also in the description. Got tons of exclusive Patreon merch, so go ahead, go check that out. And until the next video,